All right, good morning, everybody. And it is so fabulous to see so many of my longtime friends here from the Park District. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day at Conejo Creek North, one of the many amazing locations managed by the talented team at the Conejo Recreation and Park District. We are so excited to be here today to highlight the crucial role that CRPD has played in the lives of Conejo Valley residents, both throughout the pandemic and long before. One of the things that has always made the Conejo Valley a great place to live and to explore are the more than 4 dozen parks available to our residents, all maintained by CRPD to add to our quality of life. Our kids play soccer in these fields, take swimming lessons in the pools, and chances are most families have hosted a birthday party or two right here. And of course, I enjoy hiking trails every single weekend that are maintained by COSCA and CRPD. So we have really enjoyed these parks. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, CRPD went above and beyond to fulfill the needs of our community members who needed it most. As soon as the health orders were allowed, CRPD offered COVID protocol compliant childcare, so our essential workers, nurses, police, fire, and grocery workers could leave their kids in trusted hands. While so many private and public facilities were closed, CRPD opened their facilities and sent staff to work for drive-through senior nutrition meals, food box distributions, blood drives, COVID test sites, vaccination sites, cooling centers, and social services for at-risk youth and families via the Safe Passage Youth Foundation, which also this year happens to be my nonprofit of the year. And I do want to add 2016 Play Conejo was my nonprofit of the year. So you are doing a lot right here in the Conejo Valley. CRPD did so in spite of losing money and having no guarantee that they would be compensated. I've always said it is important that local organizations stay in touch with my office because it allows us to be aware of the needs of our community so we can look into how we can help. When Jim reached out to my office and made us aware of the challenges they were facing, we were determined to secure this funding because of everything they have done for our community during this trying time. We are so proud of the relationship that we have had for CRPD for many years. Since my days on the Thousand Oaks City Council, when we worked on the community pool, and now through my time in the State Assembly, CRPD has always kept us well informed about their work and needs. Senator Stern, and I want to recognize that Jeremy is here right now because Senator Stern was in committee till 11:30 last night. We worked together and made it a priority to bring the funding proposal to our budget chairs in the Assembly and the Senate. And I am so glad to be able to announce that the governor yesterday signed a budget that included $3.3 million for CRPD. Here with me today is Doug Nichols, chair of the CRPD Board of Directors, and Jim Friedel, CRPD's general manager, who will talk more about what CRPD has been doing and how this funding will be used to continue their mission of enriching the lives of our community. And first up, we will hear from Jim Friedel. Jim?
Oh gosh. Thank you so much, Assemblymember Irwin, and I may slip and call you Jackie because we've had the opportunity to work together for 25 years now. So thank you so much, Jackie. This means so much to us. I want to start by specifically recognizing my chair, Doug Nichols, that are here, but along with our other directors, Vice Chair Nellie Cussworth, Directors George Lang, Director Chuck Huffer, and Director Susan Holt. And with their leadership and guidance, the Conejo Recreation and Park District and the staff have been able to continue operating in a way that the community really needed us to during and throughout the COVID pandemic. I also, like Jackie, do want to recognize Jeremy Wolf and Senator Stern. I was part of a coalition that included the California Special Districts Association, the California Association of Rec and Park Districts, and the Ventura County Special Districts Association. And collectively, all of us throughout the state were arguing that special districts, and especially rec and park districts, had done quite a bit during COVID, and through a variety of reasons had been left out of the first two federal bills. The third federal bill we were included, and it just allowed the states to allocate money to rec and parks. And that's when we went into overdrive and really started asking for help from our legislators. And I know my colleagues in other rec and park districts have done the same. And one of the things I'm really excited about is that the governor's budget, the trailer bill, also includes $100 million for special district relief that will be something folks can apply to. So I have good friends in fellow districts, and I know that that pot of money will go a long way to help them as well. So I'm here to recognize and thank my staff, because the staff of the Conejo Rec and Park District, yes, thank you. When COVID hit and we were looking at the rules and what can and can't we do, just like every other business and government and nonprofit, we basically said we need to do whatever the community needs us to do, and within whatever COVID guidelines allow. So we did do, as the Assembly member said, we kept our parks open. Amenities within the parks were ordered closed, but we kept our parks open for people to socially distance, exercise, get out, get in touch with nature. Our trails remained open, although we did have to close them for a period of time, more because we're next door to Los Angeles County, and when they closed all their trails, we really were left with no choice because we can't serve 10 million people right to our south. But again, we did all sorts of things. We kept childcare going. We continue to provide services in a way for the unhoused, and that's something that we're really it's a challenge for us. It's difficult, but because we do have so many open public restrooms, there's a relationship there that we believe helps that population as well. We've had COVID testing sites on our property, vaccination sites on our property. We opened community cooling centers when the heat really soared last summer. And remember, we're doing this while COVID is raging and the public's not quite certain if they can bump up against one another or not. And our staff were there with them. Blood drives, evacuation shelters, if anyone remembers. I know Woolsey and Hill were a few years ago, but we actually had a fire off Herbs Road, the Easy Fire, and opened a shelter during that as well. So again, thank you to my staff and board for allowing the Conejo Rec and Park District to continue to operate and serve our community. And with that, I am going to introduce, thank once again, Assemblymember Irwin. Thank you, Jackie, so much. And I don't think without our senator and our assembly member, it just wouldn't have happened. So we're really grateful. I want to turn it over, though, to my chair, Doug Nichols, to say a few words as well. So, Director
Nichols. Thank you, Jim, for that recap. And again, thank you, Jackie, Assemblymember Irwin, for making this possible today. Very encouraging. Jim was talking about many of the things that this Park District and the staff has done. But I just want to thank the board for their wisdom and discernment and guidance through that process. I know we challenged our general manager many times, kept questioning him. Do we have to follow those rules? Can we make our own rules? You know, we've got to serve the public. You know, what can we stretch the rules? Is there some way we can do more? And they were always up to the task. And Jim was constantly checking. He says, well, those were the rules today, but I don't know about tomorrow. And so things were always changing. But again, thank you for your vision and your leadership and your critical decision making. But I think mostly it's you're empowering staff at all levels to make decisions almost on the fly to kind of get things done. And that starts at the top. And I think it's just a reflection of our community and how we expect things to happen here in the Conejo Valley. And I see we've got a number of our administrators here too. And I want to thank you folks specifically because you have to initiate to get things done. And I know there was a lot of question of, you know, what can the district do to serve our community? You know, programs had to be cut, you know, things had to be canceled, staff had to be cut, constant changes, but you were tasked with making those decisions. So thank you for constantly looking at what you could and couldn't do, but more importantly, what the community needed and try to find those ways to do it. And then I know one of the things we heard about early on was, we don't know if we're going to get funding for that, but let's track the expenses. Let's just make sure that we know where this money is coming from, what we're spending it on. And it was things like that that made this possible, that we had that information readily available to pass on to the assembly member and to the senator and say, hey, we've got the background to support this. If you can just carry this forward, it all helps. One thing I really appreciated was the leadership and the administrators and the staff never hesitated to do what was right and what needed to be done. Continue to look at expanding the needs. I mean, this is a creative bunch, but the creative bunch were being creative outside of their norm, and it was just impressive to see how it was getting done. I mean, even the grounds people were getting creative and getting things done. They were having to stretch and do things differently. So just the creativity was amazing. And Zoom became a popular term that we never heard. We heard of Zumba before, but not Zoom. And this became a whole different term, and now it's become too relevant. But as we saw the needs, in fact, I might mention to Jackie here as a swimmer that the aquatics participation was like off the charts. Just incredible. People just wanted to get outside. Of course, we were fortunate enough to have the resources available to do that. But as we were moving forward, that whole revenue question was an uncertainty. What were things going to be in the future? We didn't know. Programming revenue was down. Things were uncertain, but we knew we needed to continue to meet the needs. There's the social needs of the community, the recreational needs, the health needs, nutrition needs. We continue to meet those. And we couldn't refer back to the last time this ever happened to say, well, what did we do before? Because there was no before. This was all learning on the fly. But they got it done, and worry about the details later. And I like the term that our general manager uses, Jim. He talks about the district being third responders. You have your fire and your police and others that are quick out there, and we kind of come in behind and then offer that support level, whether it be the cooling centers, support after the grief of the borderline shooting, after the Woolsey fire, now the pandemic. We just kind of come in and provide that support network, and I appreciate that role that they do provide. But as we look to the future, we were kind of uncertain as to where the finances were going to come from, what was next year was going to be like. The board just finished adopting a 2-year budget. Again, I want to thank the board for their wisdom. We had some good discussion over how that was going to take place. But again, some uncertainty. Would the revenue be there? What was going to happen? Yet we still were trying to anticipate. We still put together our 10-year capital plan. I see Andrew Mooney out there was a critical part of that. Tom Hare isn't able to be with us today, but still knowing that we needed to meet the needs of the community. We have growing needs. We have maintenance needs. We have 4 playgrounds that are going to be refurbished. We have the dog park just across the way from us. We have Conejo Creek Southwest. So this type of funding support will now enable us to just rest assured, we can continue to do what the community needs and continue to maintain what we have, but also looking to the future as the City of Thousand Oaks is in the process of revising the general plan. So we can plan for the future now with a little security and saying, okay, great, we can rest assured that we have that funding that we need to continue moving forward. One thing I also want to point out is, as Jim mentioned, coordinating with others. All along the way, he was working with our neighboring park districts, Pleasant Valley and Rancho Simi, say, well, how are we addressing this? How are you addressing that? Working together, making sure that there is a unified approach in doing that, and learning from one another, just, again, on the fly, along with the special districts that he mentioned as well. But finally, I just wanted to express appreciation for having a local homegrown assembly member available to, it's not like we had to convince her of what the park district does. She has a long history here, Thousand Oaks, her family, being on the city council, all that helps, and I think it just also is kind of a stamp on the relationship that the city and the park district has, which again has been helped with you and your time there and continued with your time there, Jackie, where it just provides, it's a knit, it's a family. We all have the same constituency, we all serve the same community members. It's just a facet of how we do that. So I want to thank you again for your support, your understanding, your willingness, your knowledge, and your availability as well to make this happen. And the funding will go to good use, and it'll certainly help mostly the residents of our community. Yes, we as the Park District are stewards of that, but it's to their benefit that this type of funding will help you. So thank you for your assistance here. If you can give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
And now I think you're going to have a few more words.
I'm going to have well, I would like to have Jeanette bring up the check, please. It was just approved yesterday. Yes. And so, again, for all the incredible work that you and your staff did over this unprecedented time, we were, Senator Stern and I were very happy when we saw this item in the budget, and use it well. Yes, all right, let's.
Staff,
Yes, staff, everybody.
so like put the board members right up against Jackie and Doug. Yeah, we could have some people stand lower.
That's what it looks like from behind.
Close. You stand up front. You're yeah.
You're short, is what Jim was trying to say. You're
Oh, you're actually giving me this? Where's Melissa? Put this right in the bank.
Oh, yes. All right. Everybody's waiting with bated breath to know that they can go home now. I want to thank everybody again for joining us here on this beautiful morning, and have a fabulous day.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Henry.